Any new business at this time? So we have Julie Marshall from the Livingston County Industrial Development. Please step up. Dave, step up.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
This evening, thanks for allowing us to be on your agenda. You have Ian Coyle, the county administrator, Julie Marshall, Eric Gott, to my far left, the chairman of the board of supervisors.
Do we need more chairs for the table?
We'll pull up sooner.
And you got one over here too,
Eric's
Dave.
chairman of the board of supervisors and also a member of the IDA. And to my left here is Pete Yandel, supervisor of town of Lyman, also a member of the IDA. Basically, I put together a little brief letter to kind of hopefully spur some conversation tonight to get some dialogue going. Julie first is going to mention where we are with the road, but also I feel the last couple of years we've made a lot of headway. We have some good businesses up in the park expanding, and we have some real good opportunities coming along, and we need to just kind of an update of where we're at and what we need to do to, we all have to do our own due diligence, but we certainly want to be on the same page and work together. So I'm hoping, any concerns or thoughts that any of us have, please put them on the table tonight so we can, do a better job to bring things together up in this park. And I think we have some real great opportunities there. So turn it over to Julie for a brief update, and then hopefully we can have some discussion.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you. As David mentioned, we've had significant activity in the park and actually throughout all of Avon in the last couple of years. That park's been in existence for about 20 years, and we've seen a big uptick in the last 2 years in particular. So I came here to give you an update on the road construction to let you know where things stand, and that is something that I've been here before seeking subdivision approval on and the ability to move forward with those plans. We applied for grant funding last year in March of 2014 with the town being a co-applicant with us, fully planning on using town forces as we have in the past to construct the road. Our funding source was the U.S. Department of Economic Development Administration, and they've had some staffing changes and told us that we were unable to use town forces, needed to put that out to bid, and I think David put some of that in the letter that he sent to you. We appealed that decision and were unsuccessful in that appeal and had to put the project out to bid. That has caused some delay in the project, and with using the federal funds, there are certain requirements that we have to comply with, and if we don't follow those particular guidelines, we risk losing the funds that we've secured. Their funding is 50%, so on an $800,000 project, we have half of that federal money coming back into Livingston County, and in particular into Avon, so that's very important. Right now the project, the road construction, has been put out to bid. At Friday's IDA meeting, the board will review the bids that we received, and we will make a recommendation to award the bid. That will be contingent upon EDA's approval. Right now, EDA is reviewing all of the bids and the bid documents, so we're hoping that we will have their approval to go with the contractor that we're selecting. We anticipate that once we receive their approval that we'll be able to do a pre-construction meeting with the IDA engineers in the town of Avon and issue a notice to proceed to the construction firm. We're expecting that construction is going to begin mid to late July, and it'll take anywhere from 60 to 90 days, depending on the weather, to build that road. The town will take dedication of that road once it's constructed, and we expect that it will be open this winter. It will not be barricaded. We want folks to drive on it. We want that compaction so that next year they will be able to take dedication of that. So it's moving along, albeit slower than we had expected that it would, but pleased with the fact that there are some federal dollars coming into the county in here into this community. So I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. I don't know if my board members have any additional comments to what I said.
I think it's important to recognize that we, a couple different things went on. Prior to EDA even authorizing our bid documents, our bid packet, the board, the Economic Development Board, authorized Julie to put those out to bid because we would have had to wait another 30 to 40 days to even put the thing out on the street for bids. Worst case scenario, if EDA didn't like our documents, what they would have had to do is, we could have rejected all the bids, but it came back that they did like our documents, so we were 30 to 45 days ahead of schedule where we are currently today. I can't imagine with the delays we've had dealing with EDA and also with the setback not being able to use the town forces. Tom and his crew have proven their ability in that park in particular, and we were in fact excited to work with Tom and his crew and David. Again, they put a very competitive price together, but to find out that we couldn't use local forces was a letdown to us. So that was when the board said we got to go to bid, and we got to go to bid without EDA's permission because we can't wait any longer. We know that we're delayed, certainly, setback after setback after setback, but I just want to be clear that we have not misled anybody. We have certainly been misled, and people may have been misled about things that they thought were going to happen, but I want to be crystal clear. No one from the county or from the Economic Development Office has misled anybody purposely. We have the best intentions for that park. We continue to have the best intentions. In fact, we're working with several potential deals now. They continue to come in our way through the Greater Rochester Enterprise and just plain into our office. So we're excited, and that's why we're here tonight. We want to make sure that we and the community of Avon are pulling the rope in the same direction to get this thing done, to get it done right, so we can continue to move on that park up there and expand that, that area on Lot 390. So that's why we're here tonight. I thank David for putting this together and the chairman for having us tonight. Again, any questions we can answer, that's what we're here for tonight. I will say that our recommended contractor will be the same firm that moved the pond for us last year. In fact, their equipment is here. When Mr. Williams from the Genesee Sun called me earlier, he asked about the delay in construction. There won't be a day delay in construction once we get EPA's approval. They're excited. They wanted to build it last fall, in fact, but the minute we put a shovel in the ground, there goes the $400,000 EDA funding. So we were in a jam, and we understand that, but we aren't now, and we're going to move forward.
Is any additional engineering going to need to be done? Because with this rain we've had this last week, the 4 inches, that detention pond right now is full. And by Jim Gardner's building, right where that road ends, that's a lake there right now. So my question is, any additional engineering needs to be done up there prior to the road being built?
That's a good question. I actually called our engineer today because they're out on a weekly basis doing inspections up at the site with Jim's property because some of it is still under construction. So I called him today and left a message with that very same question.
My understanding years back that as the park gets built out, there's room to expand to the north of that detention pond. And I think when we get in there and start building the road, now's the time to maybe possibly expand that pond.
The pond that was relocated last year, the way that it was engineered and constructed was for full build out of the park.
Okay. And that's a pond that's there right now?
Yes.
And that's a pond that's full right now?
Yes.
But as we put
Probably
roads,
been full twice in the last 3 weeks.
but as soon as we start putting now more roads and like more buildings, more construction, if the pond is full now.
You're also going to have the sewer infrastructure in place that's not there now that will help to handle that. That's not there.
The storm sewer?
Yes.
Okay.
That storm sewer that you
That'll help the
mentioned,
village.
we really don't have the ability to dump water off onto other properties at this point. So being able to hold the water that is due to all the impermeable that will be when it's fully built out,
Right.
needs to happen on that property. You can't just be sloughing off water on other people.
Well, Jim, there's quite a bit that goes back towards the north. there's quite a bit of that property.
My understanding is that it's properly engineered to accommodate. So I will go back and I will revisit that.
You mentioned that you called the engineer. Did you get an answer?
No, I
to
didn't,
that?
I didn't reach him, no.
So, and we're talking probably in October of this year, completion of the
Once every
road,
3 weeks.
That's the plan.
and June of 16 for final.
For final top coat.
Do you know, are those retention ponds, what are they sized for a 100-year storm? Because we've had 2 in the last 3 weeks, and 1 last summer.
I'm not sure anything's.
Just so you realize that.
No, we
Yeah.
do, we do.
It's full now. It's, yeah, I mean, there's water all over up there.
And it all runs through my property to the north. Just a sidebar.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
It would make sense to revisit that before
Yeah.
make anything more permanent.
Because if it runs to the north, there's still plenty of land to the north of that pond to make it larger,
Exactly,
if needed.
exactly.
Or build a second one.
It'd be better to do it now.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in to update us.
Do you have any other questions or
We appreciate it.
concerns?
I do have some concerns.
Okay.
The way this particular project went, if it's a roadmap for how the future ones go, I have a major concern. And I'd just like to review this real quick. In December of 2013, that's when Dom signed his agreement.
Mm-hmm.
13.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was in spring of 2014 that you said as soon as the weather breaks that road would be started.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was delay after delay there, as I'm glad that you mentioned that. Then it was told that road would start in August of 2014. Another letter, construction to begin in fall of 2014. And then a very interesting letter that 2015 it would be complete. We sent a letter on a related issue to your office, and we didn't get a response. It would have been nice if we had got a response to that letter. That had to do with an additional 5 acres that Don wanted to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been nice to just give us a response, just let us know how you feel about that, or open a dialogue with us. That's what we were hoping for. Something concerned me the most was a comment I read in the paper that you mentioned you were going to take back Dom's land if he were to withdraw his money.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you would do? You would initiate some kind of protocol to take back his land?
That's not something that we want to pursue. I've been advised by counsel that if the money that's in the escrow account is removed, that there certainly is recourse for that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not here to debate legal issues.
Okay.
I don't believe that the way that this road construction project has occurred is exemplary of the way that we operate in our office. We have had considerable delay in using this particular funding source. We did not know that when we applied for the funding and were awarded that they were going to manage every single aspect of the project. When we've used other funding sources, state sources, even local funds, we're able to move forward with these projects quite rapidly, and most all of the projects that we work on, we finish ahead of schedule. So to me, this is very disturbing that we can't get it done in the time frame that we hoped that we would have.
So you didn't have experience with that type of funding
Not with this
before?
particular funding source, no. And actually, we've relied very heavily on Senator Schumer's office to help us move this project forward because EDA is not extremely responsive.
All right, so you are working with his office then
Absolutely.
to try to get them to move this along?
Absolutely, we are.
There was another you made that comment a second time. My concern about that is that sounds pretty harsh to threaten to take back somebody's land. And I'm just wondering if, I mean, the way this whole thing went, again, if other businesses come into that park and they're going to experience this kind of thing, it's going to detract from additional businesses who want to come to this town. They're going to read about this and they're going to say, I don't want any part of this. And I just want to know, what kind of metrics are you going to put in place to change that?
I think that things that you're reading in the paper are not exactly correct or any other media source. I think that having a conversation with me, with the agency, is the best way to do things. think that there were a lot of questions asked of the agency and of me that were questions that probably should not have been asked or answered, to be perfectly honest. As far as the road construction and new business going in, we have purchase offers on additional property up there. We have significant interest in that park, and we're trying to move forward to the best of our ability with the constraints that we have.
But are you aware that there's other business owners in that park that have concerns about working with the IDA as well? Are you aware of
We
that?
have talked to all of the other business owners in that park. We have sent them information on the road construction. They thanked us for the communication, for the clear and concise information that we've provided to them.
Well, a conversation I had just today with a person, a constituent in that park, is not pleased at all with the way some of his things are going.
Well, then I need to know about that, and that person needs to contact me. I'm not aware of that.
Well, that's what I'd like to know is that, what kind of metrics are you going to put in place to, do you have, what are the principles that the IDA abides by? Continued service after the sale? Do you interact with these businesses
Absolutely.
afterwards?
Absolutely. We have an ongoing business retention and expansion program. We visit with the businesses in the county on a regular and ongoing basis.
That's not what I heard today from this one constituent. So I
Well, then
wouldn't-
I would ask you to have that constituent contact us.
Yeah. Can you be proactive maybe and go and meet with them and see how they're doing? I mean.
Yeah, we do. We do as part
Because
of our.
from what I understand, sometimes you've been requested to come to the businesses to look at various things and you won't come over, you don't come up there. These are things I'm hearing
Well,
that are
that's,
great concern to me. And
again, we need to have businesses contact us directly, not work through, and I don't mean any disrespect, any third person. Direct contact. Pick up the phone, call.
well, that would be nice. I would have enjoyed going to that meeting that you had a couple of weeks ago. But from what I understand, you only sent the notice to the town through U.S. mail. And by the time it got here to this office, there was no time for any of us to attend your meeting. Is it typical for the IDA to just use U.S. mail to invite people to a meeting?
Generally, yes, that's the way that we conduct it.
You send emails to others about meetings. How about an email or a call to Jennifer here? I would have liked to have been there at that meeting and learn of these things. I don't like seeing these things in the newspaper, in print, and we've made efforts to be in contact with you. We've made efforts to bend our rules for you. We approved 3 lots for you without the road being there. We don't do that for anybody. We have bent our rules and jumped through hoops to move things along for this shovel-ready project. And I'm really disturbed by the delays that I see here and the lack of communication and the lack of respect that you're giving to business owners who are trying to improve and grow their businesses in this town.
The letters were sent by U.S. mail. Yes, that is correct. That's not uncommon.
Are you going to continue to do things that way? Is that the next time you have a meeting, are you going to use U.S. mail only to invite us?
Well, hearing now that there were some issues, we will probably send emails as well as regular mail, but we don't also have email addresses for everyone.
I'm sure you have Jennifer's email. I'm sure
I
you have her
do.
phone number. She will coordinate and get us here.
I think our concerns have been made. And
I will tell you that the letter that the board sent was presented at the IDA board meeting. They did review it, so it's not that it was not seen.
We would just like to hear whether it's, if you don't like it, you do like it. I mean, engage in a dialogue with. We sent a letter to you because we want to engage you in a dialogue. We want to work with you. We want to move things along. We've got great momentum going in our town here. We've got great possibility. When I see these things delaying it in this business environment where companies are leaving the state in droves, we want to keep them here. Avon's a great place. We want to keep things moving.
We do
So
too.
we really, really need your office's help.
I think we dared our concerns. And
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I hate to interrupt because I'm not part of this meeting. I'm certainly here just an observer.
Dom, this is not a hearing.
Okay.
I'm not going to take anything from the.
Mr. McGovern, can I address just one?
Sure. Well, because you're.
Yeah, I would certainly invite any planning board or business member to any meeting, first Friday of every month we have a meeting, and you'll hear exactly that. The visits that were made to businesses, not because they called, but because we have a business retention plan. We have an update every Friday. If you look at any of the minutes, you can, but I'd invite you to come. We have one this Friday, I know it's short notice, but any first Friday of the month, we're at the government center, and I would love to have people come, engage in that. Those are open meetings. We do have a business retention plan and update every month, and we do visit businesses, not because they call and ask us, because we want to see what their needs are. So certainly I appreciate those comments, but know that we are doing some of that. I don't know the details, and certainly this is not the place to get those details, but I hope that business owner is comfortable enough to call the IDA office and have a conversation with Julie about the concerns, because these are the first concerns we've heard. And I don't know who that can be, but it's not important tonight. But it is important that they reach out to the office, because that's what we're here for.
Okay, that would be great.
I really appreciate it, though. I
think we shared our concerns. Good news, we're gonna get a road in 60 days. And these things happen, you know, the federal funding and everything. But remember, planning board is our responsibility, site plan and subdivision. And beyond that, it's a town board issue with the IDA, but we certainly aired some of the concerns with, I think a lesson to be learned, if you go back 10 years, if the town was ever going to develop another park like that, have all the roads put in up front, put all the infrastructure up. Well,
Can't be selling lots, we can't be selling lots.
expensive. But you go to other parts of the country,
They're done that way.
you go to other parts of the country, you go down south, and there's literally, you can see these parks, sewer, lights, roads, infrastructure are there. Now, granted, they're not in the cold weather, and they might sit there for 2 or 3 years until they get built out. But in a perfect world, and we're not always in a perfect world, but one lesson to be learned is if we had to do that all over again, I would love to see the roads put in before any, but here, the way we did it was as the businesses come, then we'll build the roads out. So that's my own personal interjection.
We had 3 parks in the county, and none of them were done that way. 20 years ago, when the county went into the industrial park business, I have a lot of appreciation for the boards back then, the county administrator, but it just didn't happen. There was no money spent on them. We bought them thinking if somebody comes to us, we'll build.
And it has to do with,
it's been piecemeal, and that certainly
economy, has to do with like the economy, and we got hit in 07 through 2010 with like recession and everything. And like I said, in a perfect world, that's how it works.
Yeah,
but unfortunately,
absolutely.
we're not in a perfect world.
Absolutely.
But if hindsight were 2020, I would love to build it out like that. And all depends where the park's at, you know, and what type of funding is available. That's my own
But
personal.
just to restate one thing that was said earlier, we kind of do have a 2020 hindsight moment here with the pond and the drainage. And I think it would make a lot of sense to take a look at that, especially in the state it's in right now, before moving ahead with things.
Well, I think you have our word, Julie's word, that we will be in touch with our engineer tomorrow. We'll get him out here tomorrow or the very next day, and so he can look at the situation the way it is now and give us an opinion. I think that's all we can do. But you have our word, we'll do that.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great
appreciate
night.
it.
Yes, sir. Thank
for
you.
having us this evening. Appreciate it.
Leave these chairs right here.
Sure. That's good. That's great. Thanks a lot.